Hey guys, how you doing? You doing good? Yeah, you're doing good. That's good. That's good to hear. So well, I've been a bit out of it for a while, and recently the Binding of Isaac Rebirth came out, and I've been wanting to do something with it, but I haven't really had an idea of what to do. So I was just gonna do a let's play, but then I saw a few videos that were kind of like first impressions videos of other games, and I was like, that's actually pretty. That's pretty fun. I am really enjoyed that. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a first impressions, just basically what I get out of it as someone who has played quite aggressively, and by quite aggressively I mean just a lot. The first game, well, the original that this remake was, based off of, and I think I can give it a bit of a I don't know, opinion from that perspective, and I can tell you whether or not it's worth just on a face level of what the game actually is like without the input of the first game. So I figured I'd give that a go. I'm just gonna go through it completely step by step, just every key point by every key point, and I'm not it might be a bit slow and methodical, but I'm sure it'll be fun. So the first thing that everyone will notice is that the art style is completely different. It's not just the I think that's what's his face, Edward McMullen, is that his Edward McMullen? I forget his name. I'll probably find that out. Yeah, Edmund McMullen. It's a pretty radical name, I gotta say. So like I said, the first thing that people will notice is that the art style is dramatically different. I think that was one of the reasons why he wanted to make a remake of this game, was because he just couldn't update the other game with the art style that he wasn't fond of. So he just decided to basically go ahead and make a new one, which is kind of overkill, but hey, I don't mind. I mean, like, some people will probably not like having to pay another $15 for essentially the same game just so they can get more content. But I always think that if a game is really good, it warrants paying for it. Like, that's why I shell out so much money for Payday 2, because I just really like it. And like I said, we'll come back to the art style a bit later when it actually comes into play, but that's just something to keep in mind before you immediately think of it. The next thing is that it's got a file select system, which is really useful, because I have one that I've just been adding to, and I have two others, where you can have two others, which will basically give you more, like, for instance, if you want to do like a let's play or something, you can have one for that, while you have a personal one for if you just want to play it on your own. It's just a nice little thing. And let's go ahead and look at some of the options first. So the main thing which I really like about this is you can use a controller, which was something that was missing from the first game, but in this one it's oh, I haven't even looked at it. You can change them. That's cool. But I think it's cool that you can use a controller, that it's actually set up for that, and it feels pretty damn good. I'm using a controller at the moment. My keyboard doesn't really work with. Oh god, I hope that didn't mess up the files. My keyboard doesn't really work with it doesn't accept some combinations, so I have to play it with a controller to get the most out of it. And some people, if you have that problem too, then yeah, it's really useful. As I said, the art style, you can turn on a filter which essentially smooths out everything. So you can, if you don't like the kind of blockiness, you can smooth it out, but it does lead to a few graphical things, because it just puts a filter over everything. It doesn't just change the art style. So that's something you have to think about. It's also got like gamma, which no one should even think about, and pop-ups, so that if you're going through the game, you don't have something popping up in the middle of the game. It comes up afterwards, which is really useful. Also, I don't want filter on. I hate it. You can also change the sound effects and music individually, which is really nice, and you can change the map opacity, which is really nice as well. Like, that's it. It's a very what's the game? Not Bayonetta. What am I saying? Diablo-esque map that you can pop up at any time, and it's just nice to have it. And it should always be nice and low. I always keep it nice and low. I just reinstalled my computer, so all the settings are a bit crazy. You got statistics, which the other game had. You got the items you've got, which the other game had. There's a lot more items in this game. I think that as it stands, there's an extra page here. I found a few items that I didn't know about from the first one. There's a lot of these kind of mystery. You can see them in the top left of the page I'm on at the moment. There's these mystery like blue lines. They remind me of the unknown Pokemons from Pokemon. Those do different like crazy things, and they're a bit different. So there's more things. There's gonna be more DLC, he said. So that's good. You can check out the endings. I've already done a few of them, and you can look at all your pop-ups in case you turn them off. And I haven't got many because while my Steam account would probably disagree, I haven't played this that much. So let's go ahead and I've got some challenges. Those are from the last game. If you haven't played the last game, essentially, if you beat the game enough times in different ways, you unlock challenges which unlock extra things that you can get in the main game. They're really difficult. In fact, the ones that I've done are basically like slow roll made it so that you have the most powerful bullet in the game, but you can only do it like once a minute or something ridiculous, which is pretty. It's tough, but it's not. It makes it a lot easier to just instantly kill everything. I think you can kill Mum with one hit with this, so that's pretty cool. So let's go have a look at the main game. The main different the main difference is that you can have. There's a hard mode now. You can switch between that. You can also input seeds. So let's Luke. I did not say. Oh, that is a. What is V? So U and V look exactly the same. That's not confusing. Luke, see, you can input a seed, and it's essentially like Minecraft. If you've got a seed, if someone has a dungeon you want to play, you can grab their seed and play it yourself. Pretty simple. There's a few more characters than the first game. For those coming into the series, not the series, but the game, fresh, you don't just get Isaac, you get a few different characters, and they all have different base starting items and base starting statistics. That all tends to kind of blur together a bit at the end. I mean, Isaac is a bit more generic, and he does lead to a few better builds. For instance, if you get a really good first item, like if you get the quad shot or something, he can be a lot better of a character than some of the others. But if you get a really bad item, it really leads to some poor gameplay down the road. Whereas if you have some of the other characters, for instance, they tend to start off with some better ones. Like, for instance, Cain gets a luck foot, which makes it so you can... The thing I like most about it is that every pill you get is healthy, so there's no negative side effects to pills, so you can just pop pills and just become infinitely powerful, especially if you get the I think it's like a pill... I forget what it's called, like it's a pill container. If you get that, you can just become uber. And Samson gets Bloodlust, which is really useful. It just makes it so that the more enemies you kill in a room, the more powerful you get, which for Mum is really useful. There's also three new characters. There's Azael, Lazarus, and Eden. And as far as I know, Azael is basically Azazel, rather, not Azael, is essentially the same as the question mark character from the first game, but a little bit more kind of demonic, a little different, not quite the same. And I haven't played Lazarus yet. And Eden is basically an uber character that you can, if you beat any of the game, if you beat the game with any character, you get a Eden token, which lets you play as them once, which is pretty cool. I like that. I also just noticed that I've got something called a win streak. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I haven't seen that before. Must be from the new update, maybe. I assume it means how many victories you've had versus how many times you've died, which means that I'm doing pretty poorly, -3. So that means essentially for every one that every time I've won the game, I've lost 4 times or lost 3 times, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a game as Isaac. In fact, you know what? No, I'm going to go in as Samson. I like his character, and I just kind of want to show what it's like when you have a really good starting item. So I'm jumping into this with a little bit less blankness. So as you can see, this game bears an incredible resemblance to The Legend of Zelda. Pretty much, I always assume that it looks like not assume. I always notice that it looks a lot like A Link to the Past, which is really, that's kind of an interesting, considering all of the poop. That's an interesting thing to think about. So essentially, the main point of this game is that you are a kid who's been thrust into a basement because his mum wanted to kill him, and you're trying to escape. And your only weapon is your tears, which you throw at enemies, and they get damage. The only sense this makes is through the really creepy trailer that came out about half a year before this was released, where basically he's just squirting tears and the enemies are melting, which is really disturbing. And I put an annotation or a description to that, link in the description to that, because it's a really disturbing video. But yeah, so the point is to basically advance through all the rooms to kill the enemies. You can't leave a room until all the enemies are dead, and defeat the boss on every level until you eventually go further down through the dungeons to confront Mother, who is pretty uber and will kill you very quickly, which is great fun. If you're not prepared, that is. I mean, like, by that time, you should probably have a load of items. You can find special treasure rooms, which will give you a really good item usually. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they give you awful items. It's all based on random chance. I know that I had the unholy edition of the first game, and I know that a lot of time went into balancing it, more so than any other thing. Edmund was very adamant that everything should be really well balanced, and I think it's kind of achieved that. The thing is that a lot of builds kind of happen. Like if you have an item and what the hell? Oh, I didn't really read that. Oh, cool. It's a charge. So that's the thing, is that all the items dramatically change the way that the game is played. They don't just add like a HP or something. They all, well, some of them do, but they all add something different. Like I've basically become the first boss, which is pretty cool. Although charge abilities are not exactly something that I'm particularly fond of, but that's just my cup of tea, you know. A shop, that seems good. There's this new feature in the shops with a donation. I'm not entirely sure what that does. If you put enough coins into it, it breaks. I assume that's important, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't really seem to do anything. After a while, it says that you upgraded the shop, which also doesn't really seem to do anything. I don't know what that does either. I haven't put enough into it, I suppose. I've only put like 30, as you saw there. So maybe when you get to like 100, something big happens. You can get really good stuff from the shop, maybe. Which also kind of, like, the shop is useful because it has nice small little things, like it has hearts. Oh yeah, there you go. See, I am essentially this boss because he can spit blood, which is really disturbing. This game is just, yeah, that's the one thing that that probably should be addressed, is that this game is pretty bloody and poopy, and yeah, it's not exactly the cleanest game, and I'm not getting this charge at all. It takes slightly longer than you'd suspect to charge it, which is really annoying. Also, if you haven't yet, you might have noticed some similarities between that boss and another game that the guy who made this made, which was called Gish, which was a really good game. I actually really like that game. Very, very underrated. See, now that I've defeated the boss, I can go further into the depths of the cavern, into the basement 2. Between each one, it gives you a little bit of a insight into what Isaac's life is like. His friends tormenting him and stuff. So let's address some of the differences between the first game and this one, rather than going at it from the approach of having never played it before. So some of the differences are there are bigger rooms now. That's probably one of the major differences. Also, pots can't be smashed anymore. I don't know what that's about. I swear that you could smash them in the first one, but maybe I'm misremembering. There's a lot of different enemies. Spiders seem to be a lot more involved in this game, to say the least. There's spiders everywhere. Not necessarily in the first 2 levels, but when you get down a bit, like all the enemies seem to be based on spiders. I don't know whether that's just because I don't know, play the expansion of the Binding of Isaac, Wrath of Lamb enough, or I don't know. It's just yeah, it's something I've noticed. So like I said, there's bigger rooms, so they have scrolling rather than simply just being, oh cool, I got a bomb. You get some usable items that replenish after defeating a certain amount of rooms, but you get the. I'll see if I can find a. There you go, spiders. I'll see if I can find bigger rooms because they're quite interesting. They're probably the biggest feature added to the game. Hey, stop! Don't jump over my stuff. Come on. I'm not doing very well at this. I've also gone really red. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, there should be some scrolling rooms about now. You can see them on the map. The map in this version is incredibly small compared to the first one. You can hold down the map button though, and it makes it bigger, or you can tap it and it makes it just like an overlay and shows your time, which is quite interesting. Oh, cool! And I didn't realize, but if you hold down the map button as well, it tells you what your item is. Like it tells me that I've got an item multiplier for the card. There are 4 sets of items, I think. I think there are 4 sets of items. There's a passive, which will be in the bottom left, which is something like the tick, where they do passive upgrades, and you can, switch it out for another one. There's an item that you can use, which is the bottom right, like a consumable. Like I had a card. Then there's also the main item, like the action item. I've got a bomb, which is pretty useful. And I swear there was one more. I can't remember what it was though. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I don't know. Oh, lemon. That's a great one. This one, this item makes you essentially wet yourself, and it does damage because why not? That seems to be a lot of the things that happen in this game. Is you say why not a lot. So there's nothing else I can really do on this thing. So I'm gonna go straight to the boss, which is in here. Oh, see, this game is a lot more poo based because now there is an actual boss who is just a piece of poo, which I guess it kind of makes sense, but not really. So I've stumbled into what is probably known as a Devil's Room. I think that's what they're still called. They were called that in the first game. You can... Oh, I accidentally did it. I didn't mean to do that. You can, as well as having items that you can get for free, you can also find Devil's Rooms. You can also find people who are willing to... Well, not people, but like little kids who are willing to sell you items in exchange for some things. In the Devil's Room, you can exchange one of your maximum heart lives for an item, and in this one I got a little guy. I don't know what he does. I think he makes after a while he makes a fly which follows you around and is basically a reverse fly. The other flies in the game will try and kill you. This one is your friend and will go and kill everything else, which is a useful item. I like it when you can do that to when you can get that yourself, because it gets a lot of flies around you, and it's like a nice little defense field thing. So I've just gone down to the level below, and something that I've realized that should probably be talked about is the music. In the first game, I for some reason I really liked the music in the first game. It was quite it was really rocky. It kind of felt quite I don't want to say the word like demonic or anything, but it felt quite eerie. Whereas in this game, it's a lot more electronic. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's a good soundtrack. I'm not sure how much it fits. It makes it feel a bit too much like it's trying to fit in with the Zelda kind of feel. It's good. I think that the other game's music was better, is what I'm saying, which could be taken either way. It's good and bad. Depends on your taste. This is just my personal taste. I'm not too fond of the music. It's grown on me a little bit, but I don't know how much it will. So this room is one of the extending rooms that is new to the game. I know that they had a lot of rooms like this in Zelda, which is probably where that came from. And to be honest, I'm not sure how well the other game could have coped with this. I think that it had too much going on already. It used to lag on my old computer, and it's a simple Flash game essentially. I mean, it's not a Flash game. The coding is Flash, but it's actually not Flash or something like that. So I'm not sure how well it would have worked, but it's a really nice addition. It's awesome. I don't have a key. You have to collect keys to go in certain rooms, and you also get bombs and money. That's the other items I was probably meaning to talk about before. Those are the like standard items that you constantly get throughout the game: keys, bombs, and money. Oh, here you go. Hey Worms, how you doing? Do you mind? Thank you. So I'm gonna be looking for some keys. I probably spent them poorly before. Oh, this charge is actually quite good. The problem with it is that there's an item called chocolate milk, I think, and that makes you be able to charge, but you can unload it sooner for a weaker attack, which seems more useful to me because you have to unload it, and while it's a good attack, you still have to wait regardless. So I don't know. It's all right. You know, it's one of those items that you get and you're like, it's has neither positives nor negatives. It's just an addition essentially. Oh dear. Here come things. These guys are nasty. If you kill that hive thing, it will create an exploding fly, which is they're difficult to hit and difficult to not die from, essentially. Oh, okay, I didn't. That's cool. I've just noticed that my health bar is missing from this level, which means this level is cursed. I don't think you can see that, actually. Some levels will have a random curse. Some of them, like their blindness, where you can't see anything. There's somewhere that's like a maze where some rooms don't necessarily go to the rooms you'd expect. It's literally like a maze, like the what was it called? The forest. What was it called? I forget what it's called. In Ocarina of Time, it was the something forest. I've got some keys now. I forget what it was called, but yeah, there's some levels where it's essentially like that. There's some where you don't remember where you've been, and it just a few curses like that. And this one must be one where you can't see your health bar. I think it's called. Oh, there it is. The Curse of the Unknown. Okay, there you go. So I don't know. Oh, toxic butt bombs. What does that do? I think I've got that one before, and it fills the room with toxic smog, which hurts enemies passively, which is a pretty funny item, I gotta say. So let's talk a bit about the art style, because I know that's going to be the deciding factor for a few people, because the first game had a pretty creepy art style, whereas this game has a lot more gaming kind of art style, and I feel like it's probably the best way. If you haven't played the game before, I feel like it's better to play it with this art style than with the other one, because it's a lot more definite. There's a few things that this art style leads to that the other game didn't. Like, for instance, if you go to a shop and there's an arcade machine or something, in the old game, because it was not a very definite art style, it felt like you could push them around a lot, and you could. Whereas in this game, like, for instance, I can push against this rock and it's going to come back where it was, whereas in the other game, it didn't do that. And I know that's not specifically the art style, but it just feels like everything is a bit more molded in place because of the pixels. And, oh, I skipped that. My mistake. Sorry. But, other than that, like, I think the art style is way better in this one. It's, it doesn't have that choppy flash look that the other game had, where it was already pixelated because it was just aliased. Whereas in this game, everything kind of leads towards looking like that, just because that's the style, essentially. And I think that's a lot easier to look at. And like I said, it leads to a lot more definite kind of feel to the game. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but I just find that games which have more smoother edges, more when they're trying to be quite arcadey, just don't necessarily feel right. Whereas this feels more like an arcade, and that's kind of what the game's going for. So that's good. It's definitely more vibrant from what I've seen. The reds are definitely more red, but there are less reds, which is bizarre. The first game had a lot more gore, whereas this one, like, even though it does have a lot of gore, it doesn't have as much. Has a lot more poop though, which is something I guess. And also, I've just noticed that this is a boss, so I've just encountered a little mini boss room, which is always nice. Always nice to find those. It comes down to personal preference, the art style, though, I reckon. I really like it. I like it a lot more. But I really like the first one as well. So I'm kind of a bit like, it's not really a selling factor for me. But if it is a selling factor for you, I would say that just choose one. That's all I can really say about it. That's kind of the main difference of the game. There's a few other little differences, but that is the main difference that everyone noticed. Rather than, like, no one was saying, oh, there's a few more items, you know? People were saying, oh, it looks different. It looks different. And, I mean, like, I didn't even know it had moving rooms, and I was following the game really closely when it was in development. So, you know, it's just, yeah, that's just one of those things that people are going to notice. Yeah, there really is like 100 times more poop in this game. It's slightly disturbing. Oh, the hams are trying to get me. They did get me. I'm not sure if this is true, but I think I've noticed some more motion blur in this game. It has a few more effects. It has like a light around you. Like, it has some light effects. The flames have light effects. Like, if I hit this off now, it will go darker. Yeah, see? And Isaac, or whoever you're playing, does have a light effect, which might not be too noticeable when I've encoded the video, but he does have it. And I think that's a really nice touch, and the motion blur is a nice touch. Everything, like, the visuals have just been upgraded, in a sense that they've been downgraded as well. What did I just get? That was one of the lines, that was one of the unknown kind of symbols I was talking about. I don't know what they do. I don't know what that did, but I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, those are pretty cool. Those seem to be the main addition that I've seen, as well as a few like secret, like holy artifacts or whatever, and a new type of heart. Oh, I got damaged. Oh, here comes some spiders. These are actually the most annoying enemies I've found that are new. The spiders that sit on the wall and are really difficult to hit, but they just keep shooting at you. Ah, here's the boss. Let's go in there. Chub. That's a great boss, because you can kill him really easily with bombs, and I have lots of bombs. Take my bomb. Delicious. Bomb. Oh, you didn't want it. Oh, yeah, there you go. See my, Oh, it doesn't hurt. It just does, like... It just makes them a little bit queasy, which is quite apt, I suppose. Oh, I found a box, which gives you lots of cool stuff. Oh, I have Samson, don't I? So I've got a pill. I found a pill. As you can see, it says question mark, question mark, question mark, because it doesn't tell you what it does. And I'm guessing that I can, it's going to be a bad one, because it usually is. Oh, no, okay, it's just it just switches how many bombs you've got with how many keys. It's just quite passive. Fish head, it stinks. What does that do? I don't know. Let's get some hearts. Delicious. There's a demon, a devil room here, sorry. What does it got? I think this guy spits out, whoops, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I think that this guy spits out bombs every now and again, and I think this guy, oh, not bombs, but like bomb, tears, and I think this guy gives you either unlimited, either 9 lives, or, yeah. I don't like the 9 lives one. Like, I remember getting him getting 9 lives the first time, which means that when you die, you just respawn in the previous room. But the problem that it has is that you don't just die. You die and lose pretty much all of your hearts. Like, you don't lose any of your oh no, you do. You do lose every heart, because you would have already lost them all if you died. So you lose all of your hearts except for 1, and that includes maximum hearts. So I've probably got, I can't see my hearts at the moment, but like I've probably got like 4. If you get that, you lose them all, which sucks. So yeah, let's go down deeper into the unknown. I've gone to the next. Oh, I got given poo. How nice. That's a great present. I'm curious, actually, because I know that you can turn filter on. Let's turn that on for a bit, just to see what it looks like. Oh, as you can see, it makes everything look a lot more splotchy. I'm curious to know how that changes the little pixelation effect when you go down into the next area. I haven't tested that. I'm sure it makes a difference. It probably makes it look crazy. So from this point on, everything gets way harder. As soon as you get down to like pretty much even like past the second level, it gets really hard. If any of you have played what was it called, Risk of Rain, that game gets hard very, very quickly. So does this one. Although unlike that game, you can hang around on the levels and just farm a bit. So which on the other game you couldn't, because it just got hard automatically, which is not fun. Or it is for that game, but not for this one. Oh, so as you can see, I got plenty of hearts. I've got like 6 hearts, which is pretty much a good amount. Let's go straight to the boss. The gate. I don't know this one. I haven't done this one. There's a lot that I haven't done. Oh, I have done this one. He shoots lasers out of his eyes or something, as you'd expect. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay, this is different. Yep, there you go, lasers. That wasn't out of his eye, but close enough. In case you're wondering what some good combinations are for items, if you get both the laser items, which are called technology, they are pretty amazing together. They just annihilate everything in their homing, so they automatically hit any enemies in the room, and they're just a continuous attack. That's a really good. Oh, I got placenta, regeneration, and HP up. Oh, that looks nasty. I think yeah. Let's go and find the treasure room, because that's what you got to get next. Or that's what I should have gotten first, but I decided to go to the boss room because I'm lazy. Oh, I didn't expect you to do that. He's dead. Cool. Those skulls, by the way, they will just keep going until you kill all the enemies in the room. So if there's a small room and like loads of enemies plus those skulls, you're in for a bad time. It's just kind of lucky that none of the bosses have them in it. Oh, here's a moving room, and these guys, you can only shoot them in the back of the head, and it's a bit tricky when you've got some items that to do that. Like if you got a really slow moving item, it's really a really slow moving tier rather. It gets quite difficult. Oh, something I got to say is that it feels a lot easier to when I'm charging. Because when you're charging, as soon as you let go of the button, you shoot. I swear that in the first game, it was easier to rotate your head while charging to aim. Whereas in this one, I did it then. I'm kind of tending to let go. I'm not sure if that's just a controller or if I don't know. 2 of hearts. Oh wait, that was what I already had. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Let's see what it does. Tears down. See, that's a terrible one because that makes it. There's a few statistics in the game. I'll bring them up. As you can see, there's the boot at the top left, which is speed. The arrows and below that, which is I think is how fast you're shooting. The sword, which is damage. The bow and arrow in the top right, which I assume is range. The one below that is I also assume is tier speed, so how fast they actually fly. And the one below that is luck, which is really good. And that brings me on to something which I'll discuss now, which is the differences in the positives and negatives between the two games in terms of the gameplay. So one of them is that one of the positives is that now a lot of the hidden statistics that you couldn't see in the first game you can see now. Luck is one of them. I believe shot speed is also one of them, where how fast your things travel through the air. Before in the last game, you got pills and it said like luck up, but you didn't have anything to show that. Whereas in this game, you actually do have something to show that, which is great because it means that you actually have a firm. I'm never really a fan of hidden statistics, whereas in this game, it gives you a very firm. Laser guy gives you a very firm answer to what you've got. Some of the negatives of this game, as you can see, there's a heart on the floor. I don't know if you remember, but it fell to the floor before it just landed there. It had a animation where it comes into existence, essentially. That animation, during that time, you can't pick it up, which is a really big pain if you I'm sure that another one will do it in this room. Just watch for it when it appears, whatever it is. During that animation, you can't pick it up. As you can see, do you see the bomb? That animation, you can't pick it up. And that's, I mean, it's only a minor thing, but it's actually incredibly annoying when, for instance, if you're doing arcade rooms and stuff, you need to pick something up fast. It often leads me, personally, to leave a room thinking I've picked something up when I haven't. And that can be a bit of a problem later on. If you, for instance, if it's hearts, and you thought you picked up a heart, but you didn't. Oh, these are blue flames. That's they're bad, I think. I'm not sure why. Cursed skull. Oh, I know what that does. I'm not having that. As far as I know, I think it brings you back to life if you die and gives you no hearts and makes you blue, and is very, very dangerous. Double shot. What does that do? I got glasses now. Does that even affect? Oh, cool. Gives you bonus damage. That's cool. So it essentially doubled my damage. Does that mean that if I get a damage upgrade, it doubles that? Or is it just what I've got? Because that'd be interesting. Oh, I probably needed that heart, didn't I? Okay, so I'm going to get out of here now because I've gotten what I need. I don't really need anything else. Time to leave this basement. And I think the next floor is the final floor. I think... yes, it is. Well, it's not the final... This is the final floor. If you haven't beaten the game, this will be the final floor. You can unlock other floors if you beat the game. There's the womb, and I think there's also the cathedral, and one other, which I can't remember. The arcade. Oh, Game Boy has appeared in the basement. This is the arcade where you can just... these slot machines are random, and they give you cool items if you win. There's a few of these. You can just keep playing in the arcade. Great fun. I like this machine because it takes your hearts and gives you money. Now, that isn't the good part of it. The good part of it is if you keep doing it, it will eventually explode, and there's a chance it will give you a full health regeneration, and it will give you an extra heart, which is really useful. It takes a long time sometimes, and often it just gives you the portable IV bag, which just lets you do essentially what I'm doing at the moment, but on the go, which is really dangerous, because if you've got one heart left and you accidentally hit that, you're dead. Because it doesn't have any mercy. As you can see, I've got one heart left, so probably shouldn't do that. Oh, okay, that doubles my hearts. Okay, that's not good. Look at all the flies I got around me. I just realized I have like a halo of flies. As I said before, everything feels a bit more definite and it's not going to move. That's really, really cool because at the moment I'm just walking into the slot machine, whereas in the other game, if you just kept walking into it, you would just walk through it. Whereas it just leads to these kind of situations where you can just hold yourself against these. Oh, it exploded. Yeah, you can just hold yourself against those and you'll just keep doing it until you run out of money, which is really cool. What does this do? Paralysis. That's useful, I think. I do want to keep doing this because once you started putting some hearts into it, it's not really worth stopping. And oh, I don't have any more hearts, really. Well, screw it. Let's just explode it and get some hearts. But oh, it didn't give me hearts. That's cool. So I'm probably going to die. What's this? Why has it got... Can I blow this up? I've never seen that before. Oh. Okay, so... Oh, that's cool. That's new. I haven't seen that before. So essentially, instead of using a key to get into a room, you can also blow it up if it gives you the... What the... A lot of things in this game are new to me as well. Can you blow up pots? Oh, you can. So you can blow up pots. That's kind of useful. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh. Hello. Does this take me to the womb straight away? I probably shouldn't have done that, because I'm going to skip Mother, which is the best part of the game. Okay, well, that's cool. Utero. This is an incredibly creepy area. Oh dear. This is really, really dangerous. If you're wondering about the difficulty for this game, it seems to have been made a little bit easier. I don't have any facts to back that up, but I feel like the balancing has been altered a lot, so it's a little bit more fair, even though some of the enemies are more difficult, but you never really seem to be stuck in a room like the first game, which had just a whole load of enemies that would kill you straight away. a whole load of difficult enemies rather. So I'm not sure whether that's just because I'm getting lucky every time. I haven't really played it that much, but from what I can see, it does seem to be very slightly easier. But to be fair, again, you can also get upgrades that increase your increase the difficulty, which is a great upgrade. I remember that it was like that in you could do that in Tower of Guns, which is a great game. You could get upgrades which increase the difficulty but increase the rewards. So I think that's the case. I can't confirm that, but yeah. If anyone knows what else this is going to be... Oh, I've got half a heart left, so this is going to be fun. Oh, I'm dead. Damn it. Well, that was fun while it lasted. You can see when you die everything that you had, and you can see what killed you, so you can know what to look out for next time, which is really useful. So yeah, I'm not going to do it again because it's going to take a while, and I don't really have anything else to add to this, and I feel like it's probably gone on for a while. Yes, it has. 40 minutes. Wow. So overall, what I can say is it's definitely been improved. It runs at a nice smooth 60 frames a second, whereas the other one kind of was a bit all over the place. The graphics look nicer in my opinion. The music is a bit less awesome, but it's still good, but it's not as good as the original. If you're coming at this from the perspective of someone who hasn't played the original Binding of Isaac, I would definitely play this one first. It feels a lot more polished and a lot more refined. If you're coming at it from someone who's played the original, if you're willing to shell out the extra money, this is a very, very solid addition, but it does feel very much the same as well. If you got sick of the other one, you're probably going to be sick of this one straight away, until Edmund makes something a little bit, makes some more DLC or something. So maybe hold off on it, is what I would say, but it's still very, very good. I was very addicted to the first one for about like 2 or 3 months, and then I stopped playing it. I couldn't play the first one anymore because I just couldn't do it. It didn't have the same appeal as it lost its appeal very quickly, but I'm very much enjoying this game again. So I think it's quite a good way of getting getting back into it with a new kind of approach, a new addition or something like that. So yeah, maybe I don't know if there's a demo or something. Just give it a try, and then see if you like it. I really like it. It's got a lot more stuff, and that's really all you want, isn't it? So overall, I'm not going to give it a score because that seems silly, but it's a great game. If you enjoyed the first, play it. That's all I got to say. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully this hasn't been too long of rambling and stuff, and hopefully you enjoyed it. It's really fun, actually, these kind of things. So maybe I'll do another one. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Have a good one, guys. See you later. An Amnesia Machine for Pigs actually have anything at all going for it. As it's Halloween, we're going to take a look at what I consider to be one of the best horror levels in the video game, from an atmospheric and just basically purely stylistic point of view. Sneak 21. Sneak 22. Sneak 23. Oh! That actually got me for a second.